Hello, YouTube. This is Men of Reason with your host, Cam.
Kayla. Sean.
In this month of July, we are talking about real estate. First home-time buyers, to be specific.
Yes.
Our special guest is going to lead us into that. But before we even get to that, we also got to talk about the topic. It will be first home-time buying as well. It's all going to tie into itself. Just wait, YouTube. We got it. We have the resources. She has the knowledge. She's going to break it down. But this is our very special guest. We want her to introduce herself.
Morg the Realtor.
Yeah!
Thank you. And now we have very special topics that we want to get into, some questions that we're going to ask her, and she's going to give us some feedback and give y'all some knowledge. But Sean is going to take it away.
Appreciate that, Cam. Thank you for the alley-oop, my guy. What's up, YouTube? So, Miss Morgan. I'm sorry, Morg the Realtor.
Absolutely. Okay.
Let me get it right. So in today's industry,
put some respect on my name.
Got to. So in today's industry, I just want to know, as well as the guys, what does intentional growth look like today?
That's a good question. So intentional growth in the industry would look like building with a purpose. Mm-hmm. You know, as realtors, we can always be chasing that next transaction or that next sale, but it's really the people that matter. Absolutely. Right? Mm-hmm. So intentional growth for me happened when I seen that there were people that wanted to buy but weren't necessarily credit ready. Mm-hmm. So intentional growth happened in my business when I expanded it to credit, education, and repair. Yes. That way I can get people in a position to go from credit to keys and get to that closing table. So intentional growth, I'd say, is solving bigger problems for your clients.
Okay. I got you. Okay. I got you. So, with that being said, another question I do have: growth is not in a vacuum. It's not always linear. Mm-hmm. So, how did you make sure that you had systems in play to ensure that you had growth in your business? Yeah,
so systems are very important, especially when you're trying to scale a business or when you're building any business. So initially, I would say all businesses need a CRM, you know, a customer relationship management system. That way, your customers feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel like, you know, they have support there.
Absolutely.
But outside of that, I just had to fine tune my onboarding process. I like to call that getting the customer out of the DM. So a lot of people can be interested, but are they actually a paying customer, somebody who's serious about
not just talking?
So I, from the jump, I go ahead and send them the intake form, you know, get their personal information and really see if they're serious. So that would be a system that I would say is very important. It's just onboarding, and then after they're in there, making sure you keep that relationship strong.
I got you. Now, that does sound like a lot of volume, and that does sound like a lot of trying to remember very important details. So, with all that volume that you're doing, how do you maintain the sustainability of it all?
So maintaining the sustainability, I would say, is just kind of pacing myself in a way, knowing that Rome was not built in a day.
Absolutely.
So I do have to, as I'm growing my client base, I have to make sure I'm using technology to assist me. So I did hire a virtual assistant. Just to help me keep things organized, keep things in alignment with my goals. So she kind of just does the grunt work, the things that the admin stuff. That way I can use my time to like connect with my clients.
Absolutely.
So that's what I say. I say I use AI. I use ChatGPT and Claude for my business, because you have to keep growing with the times.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Got to keep it in the modern.
Using the resources that are on the table. I like that.
I like that. Okay, so. Well, I have a question for you. So what separates agents who stay busy from agents that want long-term relationships?
I say the difference is relationships. So the busy agent is probably chasing the next sale, while the the agent that is building a long-term business is focusing on the people. So it's about showing up long after the closing table, right? So I want to make sure that I'm nurturing the client. I want to make sure I'm educating and building that relationship with them. One thing and one quote that I like a lot is that if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. And I think that's switched that way. But you can't build anything that you think is going to last by yourself.
Absolutely.
I like that.
So it's about relying on your team, and really just showing up and being that leader in the industry.
Okay.
I love that.
Like you were saying in your answer, while you're saying showing up and being leader in the industry, following up is a very important piece of it then, showing that you actually mean well and mean good by the buyer.
Most definitely following up. Because in real estate, I'm not sure about other industries, but I know in real estate, you can't buy a home overnight, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And quite frankly, everyone's not ready to buy tomorrow.
Correct.
So if I don't nurture that client, and that's what we call it in real estate is nurturing. So say, you reach out to me today, but you may not be ready to buy until 2027.
Yes.
And that's okay, but I have to stay in contact with you. I need to follow up, even if I don't really care about how your kids are doing, which I do. Just checking in. Do you need anything from me?
Staying cordial.
And just like there may be some way I can assist you, even if you're not ready to buy until 2027. Maybe I can help you find a rental property. In the meantime, a short-term lease, like a 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
And advise you on that. So following up is very important in this business.
All right then. So you just said following up is important, and then you were giving us all the steps. Checking on the kids, staying consistent, talking to them on a daily basis. Then that would then say that you're having very good visibility with your clients, then staying in their face, just showing them that you want to be consistent.
Oh yeah, visibility is everything for any agent, and in the age of social media today, it's a great tool.
Absolutely.
But you want to make sure that your impact spans far beyond being an online presence, right?
Okay.
So you want to hold networking events, community activist events, a
Yes.
place where people can
Being in
come
the people's
together.
face.
Yeah.
Boots on the ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so then you want to educate. Once you get those people there, they may not know that home ownership is even possible for them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you
Okay.
want to give them those tools so they can be empowered and feel like, this might be something I'm interested in.
I love that. First of all, she's dropping gems. Listen and pay attention. She's dropping them.
Okay, so I want to ask you that real quick
Yes.
because we go back to relationships about the between you and the clients. What does a healthy relationship look like between a realtor and a client? If you could just give us a little tidbit on that.
Yeah. So I think a healthy relationship with you and your client would be listening to your client first and foremost.
Yes.
Seeing their needs and their wants. Because a lot of realtors, we can kind of impose our will, so you say, onto them or what we feel like they need. But I feel like listening to your client, and every client is different, right?
Yes.
So I can't do a one size fits all for every single client and say, this will work for you. This client may not like that.
Yes.
This client may not want me to reach out to them every day. They may prefer every 2 weeks.
Yes.
They may be like, oh, she's blowing up my phone. And then that could totally,
Yeah.
turn
Ruin the
them
deal or
away.
something.
So I think every client is different. So I would say a healthy relationship would be tailoring your service to that specific client.
So meeting them where they're at, then, in a sense.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So I got actually a good question for you. What kind of culture do you want to cultivate for yourself and for your book of business?
Yes, that's a great question. So for my business, I would want to cultivate a culture that is built on trust,
Yes.
hard work, and education.
Yes.
Because if you don't know, then you just don't know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But outside of that, I want to show people that if you trust the process and you allow me to educate you on what you don't know, that those results will come. So one thing I will say is, from my credit to keys, I want people to know, if you put in the work and I assist you with getting your credit together, we will get you to that closing table.
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of brands, I would say, they're big on just logos and a catchy slogan or a social media platform. But it's really about the client trusting you.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if they trust you, then not only will they come back when it's time to buy and sell again, but they'll tell their family and friends.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, let me tell you about Morg, boy. She got me right today. Okay.
Yeah, and that goes a long way, because people can see you on social media, but if they have somebody that they know that has a testimonial for you, that goes a long way.
They do say word of mouth travels fast.
It does.
It does.
Yes.
Like fire.
So I have a question, and I just want to piggyback off of what you just said. A lot of times, first time home buyers, it can feel very new.
Yes.
Feel very sometimes raw.
Scary.
And scary. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is my first time doing this.
Yes.
So how do you take this interaction from being so transactional to now interpersonal thing, where I just don't want your money. I actually do care about you as a person, as an individual. What are the things that you put in play to make sure that it's not just a transactional thing, it's an interpersonal thing?
So what I do is, like I said, I listen to my clients. So if they're telling me, that I'm a little scared about home ownership or buying, I reassure them, right? I let them know that I've had people before that didn't even think that this was possible.
Yes.
And I'm a faith-based realtor,
Absolutely.
so
Love
I
that.
do
Love that.
put that in there. If you can believe it, then, and 2 or 3 of us
You can
together,
achieve,
we're going to get it done.
Yes.
You know what I
Established.
mean?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm not one of those people who is just like, oh, I just want your money. No, I help build that trust with you. We take time. If you are ready to buy today, but you say, I still don't know for sure, I'm going to give you that space.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm not going to push. If you want to renew your lease again, because eventually you'll see that I'm here to educate and to really add value.
I love that.
Love that.
I
Look
love
at
that.
that. Look at that. Okay, so you're really saying that you are for the people. Like, you're a real people's person. You're not just dollars. That's cool, but that doesn't keep us in contact and us trying to build more.
Right.
Okay. Well, I think Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I know we are discussing first-time home buyers.
Absolutely.
This is just a little bit of caveat for you guys, okay?
Yes.
Now, I do have some questions about residential investment versus commercial investments. What would be your how could we pick your brain about which one would be the best to get into?
Okay, that's good. So I feel like they're very different.
Absolutely.
So residential, if you're investing from the investing side, you're going to be dealing with, tenants.
Absolutely.
So I would say, what would be your end goal if you're trying to decide between commercial or residential? Just because commercial is a little bit more long term. Most people, when they get into commercial real estate, they can hold a property for 10 to 20 years. And then it's a lot different type people that they're dealing with. They're dealing with business owners. You may have a Lowe's, or depending on if you're buying like a storefront.
Yeah.
So you'll have big businesses that you'll need to interact with, whereas residential, you would, it's a little bit smaller scale, but it's definitely impactful. You get what I'm saying? Because you can even partner with the government. You can do Section 8 housing.
Yeah.
And, and then you're helping a mom and her children with housing.
Yes.
So it depends on what type of impact you want to make. I would say commercial is a little bit more cutthroat.
Gotcha.
Whereas residential is a good entry.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Because I've heard people say, that they get their first property and then they do get assistance with the government and link up and do those Section 8 housings where, they're still getting revenue from, them having their own house property. So they're building cash flow, but at the same time, they're also helping out people that need it. So that's awesome.
It's very common. And one thing I will say for that is if you do purchase like a investment property, and whether you partner with the government or you just do traditional leasing, while you're leasing that property, you can always get equity out of that house to purchase your next house. So that's how you see a lot of investors, they have a big portfolio of say 20, 40, 50 properties, and they're really leveraging the first property that they bought to buy the second. And it's a snowball effect. So that's a good way to get in.
Lord have mercy. They got avalanches going on. Lord have mercy.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry. That was just a caveat. It was just in my brain.
Yeah.
No, that was a great question.
I just wanted to know.
No, that really was. And you just got me thinking. What?
I mean, it because like she's saying, if you're thinking about, trying to build wealth, then that's for sure one tool that you could use to.
Absolutely. And okay. And so now that thank you for giving us these gems. So now there's 3 ways of getting a house for a first time buyer. I think one is military, one is loan, and one is like you don't have to put down a loan, I believe, or something like that. I'm sorry for botching up this question, but
it's okay.
Which of the two, civilian side, would it kind of be more consistent and easier to get for somebody young to get a first time buyer? Yeah, I'm botching this question all up. I'm sorry, YouTube.
No, I would totally recommend a FHA loan, which is a first time home buyer association. It's backed by the government and it has a lower down payment. So 3.5% of the total purchase price of the house. But even with that, you can get a FHA loan, but you can still get down payment assistance.
Okay.
So some people go to the closing table and that the lender has to pay them a check back.
Whoa.
Because they get so many incentives. So you could get seller incentives, you can get the down payment assistance, which you do need to have like a 640 or better for that. But yeah, it's a lot of grants and things that you can get if you want to purchase a home.
Okay. Wow. Nice. Neat. Also I have another question. So you just said 640, which means entails and credit applies for that, right? So the higher the number, the lower the mortgage, which better the rate for you?
Yes, definitely. That's why I totally encourage people, if your score isn't where, ideally it should be, I would totally recommend credit repair.
Yes.
And, paying down some debts, just because you are going to get a better interest rate. They're going to be more, options unlocked for you as far as down payment assistance, seller concessions. Your interest rate is going to be lower. And I like to say that, lenders treat you a lot nicer when they see that you have your business in order.
Gotcha.
Okay, so ducks in a row means they're willing to play ball a lot easier.
They gotta trust you.
They want to give you the money. That's what a lot of people don't understand is that's what banks are in business to do, is to loan money. But us as a people, we have to have our, preparation is everything.
Yeah.
So
Planning
we need to have
key.
our credit right. We do need to have some savings in the bank, and the sky's the limit after that.
How much would you recommend a first-time home buyer have on? Lord Jesus.
No, I know, because
I know
how you would finish set up the question.
How much would you recommend a first-time home buyer have
saved up
in cash flow for a first-time buyer?
My sweet spot, I would say, is $10,000.
Okay.
So $10,000 in the bank, sitting, because a lot of lenders want that money to have aged. So you can't just get $10,000 today and then tomorrow say, okay, I'm gonna go buy a house. They want that to have sat for at least 3 months. just to see that you're not rash of your decisions. You know,
like
you're not. Yeah, you got that money and now you're swiping away. No, because that would be risky to them.
Got you.
So you don't. Yeah. Okay. So you don't look like something that we should invest in. All right.
Yeah.
That's real.
It's not their money, but they.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I would say too, I say 10,000 as a rule, but it's not, you know, a hard number. A lot of people buy a house for less. You probably won't even use all of that. You know, you can use the leftover to furnish your home or whatever, but it's good to have that. Just because the bank is going to check to make sure that you can make the mortgage payment for 3 months after you close. So you need that reserve there. You're also going to need money for an inspection. So that ranges from about $300 or so. Then you'll need your earnest money deposit, which is 1% of the purchase price. And then closing costs. So closing costs is about 3%, 3 to 6% of the purchase price of the home. So all of that, you know, thinking that you'll probably get down payment assistance. 10,000 will probably get you where you need to be.
I'm going for the first hometown buyer. So I can just get it free.
I'm not even mad at you.
But I appreciate it. Yeah, because that was
mad at you.
3, 5. I'm about out 10, 30K right now, man. Yeah, but I like that though because first of all, thank you very much because you really just broke down the process, the buying, the this, the 3%. Like it was a lot. Trust, it was just a lot, and I was following. I was listening to the gems, but that was.
That was phenomenal how you broke that down.
I didn't know that much came entwined with getting a house. We never knew. You
dropping a lot of information on us.
Just as much as
just as much.
Yes, like trust.
Yeah, it's a lot, but that's why, you know, some people are like, oh, I'm a buy, but I don't need a realtor. That's why I do recommend getting a realtor, just because they can break it down for you. They can walk you through it.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? They're going to keep you organized and keep the deadlines in place. Like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. That way you don't miss anything. That way you don't lose your money, because if you do an earnest money deposit, that's just showing the seller that you are interested in buying, that you're serious about buying.
Yes.
But if you don't meet the deadlines for everything else, as far as home inspections and things of that nature, you can lose that earnest money deposit.
So those are the possible problems a first-time home buyer would face if they do not have a realtor going into getting a house. But I didn't know that you could get a house without a realtor. I thought you had to have one.
No, you can do it by yourself. You could do it by yourself.
That's open water. No,
but I would not recommend it. I would not recommend it.
Yeah, don't do it. Opinions from us, facts from her. You see that? Opinions from us, facts from her. You know, no, I didn't know you could go about that route. I thought you had to have somebody that's like, oh, we know, and this is our property, and you know, damn.
Well, so it sounds like to me it's just another version of accountability.
This is what it sounds like.
Making sure that your
ducks in a row.
You know what I'm saying?
Pre-planning.
Pre-planning before what's
law. That's what it sounds like, because I did not know that was possible. I didn't know.
That's like, real.
Oh, you can go get your own house.
Did not know that.
I was finna go get my own house. Now I'm not finna do it. But go ahead, Caleb.
I'm about to say, because Morgan, we want to say thank you again for actually coming on. Because we did have another question, but we already talked about it. Because Capper managed to swing that into the next conversation.
We had to lob it because you really out here dropping the gems, and this is actually going to help everybody in the community and also all communities, because there's a lot of young people that's jumping out there that have no understanding of what they're really getting themselves into.
Absolutely.
I didn't have all the knowledge of this, so I'm thinking, just get a house and it's cool. No, you gotta sign everything, take all day, closing costs 3%, 5%, 10% inspection. I didn't even know you had to go look at it. Like, I see it looks fine. No, that's not good enough. We need somebody that actually has trained eyes.
Yeah.
You know, like don't leave no rock unturned.
Yeah.
And I didn't know all that came with it.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you for breaking all that down.
No, thank y'all
I really
so
do.
much for having me.
Let me piggyback off of that, especially because coming from this month and going forward, we're going to continue talking about that and their finances behind, because you can't just go get a home. Sometimes you got to have your finances in order, as she said earlier.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring somebody on later this month that's going to speak about that as well. Morg, we want to say thank you again. Clap it up for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. And y'all stay tuned for this upcoming month and months after. This has been Men of Reasons. We out.
How long was it?
Awesome job.
Good.
Great
You did
job,
good.
guys.
I did not know a lot.